Let's leave. Now that I'm back, I'm prepared to hang around. It is so pleasant to have something to look forward to when you wake up on a Monday morning. Despite being away for a week, I was still able to stay informed about everything that was happening. There will be a lot of action in this video. I would advise you to make any necessary revisions at this time. We're about to get deep, so you'll want to hang on tight. I'd want to begin by wishing all mothers a wonderful Mother's Day. The fact that Trump accomplished more over the weekend than Biden has in 4 years is absurd, in my opinion. Having a group of individuals yelling that everything Biden accomplished as president is suddenly being undone is strange. However, this man then claims to have been president. It's clear that a lot has transpired in the last week. Vatican City is already being updated by the new American Pope. There are new sculptures everywhere. France has also made the decision to make a shift. However, I believe that this one in front of my Trader Joe's is a touch excessive. And perhaps this was Times Square's better gamble. On The View, Joe Biden appears to be in good physical shape. By fighting oligarchy while eating a $26 bagel at a 5-star hotel, the burner demonstrates his incredible multitasking skills. It seems likely that I will be waiting in a line at United. What do you know? 30,000 individuals are waiting. You can only get around that way. I'm not sorry about that. Jasmine Crocashet gives us legal education. Unauthorized entry into the nation is not a crime. Not a criminal, that's for sure. It's illegal. It's not illegal. I have never heard anything so crazily stupid as what you just said. Having listened to that, everyone in this room is now less intelligent. Nancy Pelosi, who was rightly called a drunk cunt by the brother of the new pope, is attempting to sue McDonald's for trademark infringement. The newest member of the Blue Man Group is Kathy Griffin. The likeness is remarkable when you zoom in close, but I preferred it when she was lounging in the gutter. This week, the P. Diddy trial is scheduled to begin. Of the three, all of this took place prior to our learning about the Kiev cocaine party. Yes, we now know at least where all of our taxes have been going. I can't really say that Macronon is to blame. If this were your wife, how would you respond? And I'm aware that some people will claim it was only a napkin. And you might be correct because it's obvious that this guy doesn't appear like he regularly snorts Coca-Cola. You must take her out if you want to hang out. It seems like the floodgates will open this year if we speak with Monica Long, the president of Ripple. And since a lot of significant changes are occurring, she might be correct. XRP is not just about finance. XRP is joining the multi-chain competition for crypto interoperability by integrating with Cosmos and creating EVM sidechains. Additionally, HAR is now supported by Ripple custody through a shared MPC wallet. The effectiveness of Ripple's tokenization of physical assets on the XRP ledger is highlighted in a recent Robinhood document on tokenization. Ali Charts is the source of this. He believes that $15 might be the goal price if XRP can break above the symmetrical triangle. Quickly, Muni has returned, and I would want to express my gratitude to them for supporting this film. Muni is essentially a cross-chain exchange with integrated staking capabilities. In other words, Muni lets you invest the cryptocurrency you currently own in their liquidity pools. You will receive fixed interest rates and rewards for each trade you make on their site if you do that. Muni has the benefit of allowing you to earn actual passive money each and every day. XRP and Bitcoin are among the most popular cryptocurrencies that they now support. Additionally, ADA was only recently added. You can also meet the Muni team and discover more about their B2B payment system if you intend to attend Blockchain Live 2025 in October. If you would want to visit muniz.io, I have included links below. Let's look at some other top news first, and then we'll look at some updated target price levels here in a moment. What must occur is that it must be equitable for the American people. However, President Trump created a template in January 2020. The Biden administration decided not to enforce our great trade agreement with China. The Chinese delegation essentially informed us that they just disregarded their responsibilities after President Biden took office. Little Dr. Fauci is more like a goblin than a human. Big war criminal, small body. Sleepy Joe granted him and numerous others unconditional preemptive pardons. This seems like the ideal penalty, in my opinion. A settlement between Ripple and the SEC was announced. Out of the $125 million penalty, the parties have agreed that Ripple will pay $50 million, with the remaining amount being refunded to them. If the court decides to lift the injunction on Ripple, both parties will withdraw their appeals. CNN's puppets are beginning to reconsider their position. Trump has been successful. He has closed the border. Virtually no border crossings are taking place. To be clear, let me explain. Due process is a privilege that only American citizens are entitled to. There is some sort of due process for those who are in our country illegally, but it is not nearly as good as it would be for an American citizen. This is how the Somalian mall appears to be. Oh, hold on. On Thursday, Ukrainian President Zelensky and Russian President Putin will meet in Turkey to talk about a truce. Here, we witness two music cokeheads sharing a lovely, sensitive embrace. At this point, occasional cortex has started threatening people. Representative Bonnie Watson-Coleman was touched by you. We will have an issue if you touch a representative or any of the representatives who were present. The legendary John Kennedy gave some excellent counsel to the left. You simply need to make a greater effort to avoid being awful. MSNBC was losing viewers, so they replaced Rachel Maddow with Jen Psaki. Additionally, they lost 53% more viewers on her debut. MSNBC, you don't have a problem with talking heads. You're having trouble being authentic. As the stock and cryptocurrency markets go higher, green smoke can be seen over the White House. In fact, things are becoming so terrible that the Democrats are beginning to pay for their mistakes. This is an extreme left-wing job. Carville talks about Ilhan Omar, his brother. Why don't you simply leave the Democratic Party? Lady, to be honest, take the initiative. This pro-trans school board is trolled by a woman. She approaches the other board members, sits down, and declares, I identify as a board member and my pronouns are I want. You should anticipate a spike in the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies if the RSI is able to break above the 68.24 level on the weekly close, negating the bearish divergence. But until the bearish divergence is disproved, we cannot disregard it. Additionally, you ought to be mindful of the SRSI. The entire cryptocurrency market will see more positive momentum if both lines are able to cross and remain above the 80 level, which is this green line of the SRSI, while the MACD keeps up its bullish cross. I'll be keeping an eye on it and will notify you of any further developments. To those who argue that everything with a racist past should be eliminated, let me remind you that this also applies to the Democratic Party. At this point, the left would argue that Trump is just a greedy man who is being singled out for his ravenous appetite if he were the one who arrested Jeffrey Dahmer. For my part, I don't want to live in a society where you can't drink gas directly from the pump without worrying about your shoes getting stolen. Even if you don't like the specifics, you should always read them completely before committing to anything. With baby Trump, who can argue? Americans are becoming indolent. Not enough work, too many holidays, and too much Netflix. You question why the nation is deteriorating. Because self-care, according to half of the country, entails remaining at home and receiving government benefits. We worked when I was in charge. We prevailed. Now, Taco Tuesday, Mental Health Monday, and Friday are all empty. Do you wish for America to once again be great? Make an effort to be present 5 days in a row. Additionally, you might enjoy this video here if you have a few more minutes. Some of the main explanations for why XRP and the cryptocurrency market as a whole are set to rise.